Welcome to our YouTube channel. Keep watching videos for captivating ideas. Today we will talking about psychological reason behind sleepless nights, so stay tuned.
Why can't we sleep? The psychological truth behind sleepless nights. Sleep, that quiet sanctuary at the end of each day, is supposed to offer rest, renewal, and escape from the burdens of waking life. But for millions, even the most sincere attempt to fall asleep is met with resistance. This struggle isn't always physiological. Often, it's deeply psychological. We will explore 5 profound psychological reasons why people cannot sleep even when they desperately try. Each reason is a window into the mind's hidden battles, revealing how thoughts, emotions, and unconscious patterns wage war against rest. Number 1. Unresolved guilt and the burden of conscience. Guilt is a quiet but powerful psychological force. It can manifest as a subtle discomfort or an overwhelming weight, depending on the person and the situation. Unresolved guilt is particularly potent at night when the distractions of the day fade and the mind begins to wander inward. In these silent hours, guilt echoes louder. The mechanism is simple but devastating. When someone feels they have done something wrong, whether through action or inaction, the conscience remains alert. During the day, responsibilities and external stimuli offer distraction. At night, the mind is left to its own devices, and the guilt resurfaces. The brain becomes a courtroom, replaying memories, questioning decisions, and rehearsing alternative outcomes. The superego, according to Freud, acts as an internal judge, and when it perceives moral failure, it punishes the ego with anxiety and restlessness. This guilt-induced insomnia is more common than we realize. For instance, a parent who believes they failed their child, or someone who regrets a broken relationship, may lie awake, plagued by what-ifs and self-recrimination. This psychological turmoil can lead to a vicious cycle. The more one fails to sleep due to guilt, the more guilty they feel for being unable to function the next day. Number 2. Hypervigilance from trauma and PTSD. Hypervigilance is a state of increased alertness that often stems from trauma, particularly from childhood or war experiences. It is a core symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) and reflects a survival mechanism gone awry. The human nervous system is designed to respond to danger. When we perceive a threat, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in, releasing adrenaline and preparing us to fight or flee. This is adaptive in dangerous situations. However, when trauma rewires the brain, this response becomes chronic. The body and mind remain in a state of high alert, even when there is no immediate threat. For trauma survivors, the night is not safe. Darkness, silence, and solitude can trigger flashbacks or memories of past abuse. The brain interprets these signals as signs of potential danger, and sleep becomes a perceived risk. As a result, the individual remains in a semi-alert state, unable to fully relax or drift into deeper stages of sleep. Moreover, trauma often disrupts the REM rapid eye movement stage of sleep, where emotional processing occurs. Without adequate REM sleep, the brain cannot effectively process trauma, further entrenching hypervigilance. This creates a feedback loop. Trauma leads to poor sleep, and poor sleep prevents trauma resolution. Number 3. Fear of death and the existential abyss. One of the most profound psychological barriers to sleep is existential fear of death, non-existence, or the unknown. While not always conscious, this fear can surface during the moments when we are about to fall asleep. For some, the act of letting go of consciousness is eerily similar to the concept of dying. The existential mind struggles with the idea of ceasing to be. Sleep, particularly deep sleep, resembles a temporary cessation of awareness. For those with a heightened fear of death, this similarity becomes a trigger. Instead of finding peace in the transition to sleep, they experience anxiety, dread, or even panic. This fear is often accompanied by intrusive thoughts. What if I don't wake up? What happens to me when I'm unconscious? These thoughts activate the amygdala, the brain's fear center, which in turn prevents the relaxation necessary for sleep. The result is a paradox. The more the person tries to sleep, the more their fear of death intensifies, and the less likely they are to achieve rest. Cultural and religious beliefs also play a role. In some traditions, sleep is seen as a rehearsal for death. For those raised with such metaphors, the boundary between sleep and the afterlife becomes psychologically charged. Instead of comfort, the bed becomes a place of anxiety. Number 4. Repressed emotions and the mind's nighttime rebellion during the day. Many people suppress emotions to function. They push down anger, sadness, anxiety, or grief because their roles as parents, professionals, or caretakers demand composure. But emotions are not easily dismissed. What is suppressed during the day tends to resurface at night. Psychologists refer to this as the rebound effect. When we try to avoid certain thoughts or feelings, they come back stronger. At night, when external distractions are gone, the mind rebounds. Repressed emotions bubble up, often in the form of racing thoughts, tension, or unease. This phenomenon is especially pronounced in those with high emotional repression. These individuals may present as calm and composed, but experience intense psychological activity at night. Sleep becomes a battleground between the conscious mind that wants rest and the unconscious that demands acknowledgement. Dreams also play a role here. The unconscious mind uses dreams to process unresolved emotions. Nightmares or vivid dreams may jolt someone awake or make them fearful of sleeping. In this way, sleep is no longer restful but fraught with emotional upheaval. Number 5. Perfectionism and the anxiety of control. Perfectionists often struggle with sleep because their minds are conditioned to seek control, even in situations where control is impossible. Sleep requires surrender, a letting go of thoughts, awareness, and control. For a perfectionist, this is deeply uncomfortable. The anxiety of not being able to manage every detail extends to the nighttime routine. Perfectionists may obsess over their sleep environment, the exact temperature, the position of the pillows, the level of noise. Any deviation becomes a source of anxiety. Ironically, this obsession with sleep hygiene can lead to performance anxiety around sleep. This is known as psychophysiological insomnia condition, where the worry about not sleeping becomes the primary reason for not sleeping. The person lies in bed, calculating how many hours they have left before the alarm, berating themselves for not falling asleep, and trying harder to force sleep. But sleep, like love, cannot be forced. The harder one tries, the more elusive it becomes. Perfectionists also struggle with rumination's tendency to overthink past events or plan excessively for the future. This mental activity keeps the brain alert, blocking the transition into sleep. Even minor social interactions or tasks left undone can become subjects of intense rumination.